Welcome back to Who Died Today? Over the past few days, the world has bid farewell to some truly beloved and unforgettable stars. In today's episode, we pay heartfelt tribute to these remarkable lives and the legacies they've left behind. Before we begin, we kindly ask for a moment of support. If any of these stories have moved you or reminded you of someone special, please give this video a thumbs up to honor their memory. Thank you. And today, we begin with a woman whose presence was soft, but whose impact was seismic. You may not instantly recognize the name, but if you've ever watched Sanford and Son or the Waltons, chances are you've already felt her warmth. She was the kind of woman whose smile lit up the screen, but whose silence held the weight of decades. Lynn Hamilton. You may not instantly recognize the name, but chances are, if you've ever watched Sanford and Son or the Waltons, you felt her presence. She wasn't loud, she wasn't flashy, but she was unforgettable. And now, she's gone. But what if I told you that behind that gentle screen presence there was a storm of struggle, passion, and power? From the deep south of Mississippi to the shining lights of Broadway and network television, Lynn Hamilton's journey is one of quiet strength and remarkable resilience. From a segregated childhood to becoming a symbol of dignity on American television, Lynn's story isn't just about acting, it's about purpose. Born on April 25, 1930, in Yazoo City, Mississippi, Lynn moved to Chicago with her family at the age of 4. She was the only black actor in her drama class. "No roles for me," she once said. But she didn't stop. She started performing in Southside theater groups, sharpening her craft with grit and grace. Her breakthrough came in 1972 with just one powerful scene in Sanford and Son. That performance impressed the producers so much, they created an entire recurring character just for her, Fred Sanford's no-nonsense girlfriend, Donna. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, she brought life to characters in The Waltons, Roots, The Next Generations, 227, and Generations. She broke barriers playing complex, intelligent black women in an era of stereotypes. Each role, a statement. Each smile, a revolution in itself. Opportunities were limited. Roles were scarce. But Lynn Hamilton never let rejection define her. Instead, she focused on impact, not fame. Even in her later years, she appeared in The Practice and Cold Case. Never chasing the spotlight, but always shining when it found her. On June 19, 2025, Lynn passed away peacefully in Chicago at the age of 95. No dramatic headlines, just quiet respect. The kind she always carried with grace. She didn't demand the world's attention, but she earned its respect. So today, we ask, are we truly remembering those who shaped the screen without seeking fame? If Lynn Hamilton touched your heart, leave a heart in the comments. And for more powerful stories of unsung legends, like, share, and subscribe to Who Died Today? An actor who once walked the grand stages of Broadway, who reigned in the wild, gritty world of European westerns, and who, in his 90s, still dreamed of one more scene, one more line. But today, his stage has gone dark. Jat Betts, or as some of you may remember him, Hunt Powers, has taken his final bow. And the way his story unfolded is nothing short of cinematic. But before we rush to the end, let's rewind. Because the real story, it didn't begin with fame. It began with a 10-year-old boy sitting in a theater in 1939, mesmerized by Laurence Olivier in Wuthering Heights. That day, young Jack whispered a promise to himself. This is what I'll do forever. From a working-class family in Jersey City to the heart of Italy's spaghetti Western Revolution, Jack's life wasn't about red carpets. It was about resilience, humility, transformation. From a New Jersey boy to a cult cinema icon, Jack Betts became a symbol of unbreakable passion. He worked in a lamp factory to survive while chasing casting calls in New York. Then came the Actors Studio, a 3-year scholarship from Lee Strasberg himself, a rare honor, a powerful launch. He became Satana, Django, Mr. Balkan in Spider-Man. Every decade, a reinvention. On June 19, 2025, in the quiet town of Los Osos, California, Jack Betts died peacefully in his sleep at the age of 96. No flashing lights, no standing ovation, just silence. But for those who remember, he never really left, because legends don't disappear. They fade gently into the hearts of those they inspired. What's one role, one line, or one memory of Jack Betts that stayed with you? Share it below. And if stories like this move you, help us keep these legacies alive. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's not forget the voices that once moved the world. And now, we remember someone whose smile held warmth and whose silence held history. It started with a single rumor, then a post, then silence. For hours, the world was gripped with panic. Did we just lose the man who gave us Forrest Gump? The man whose voice became Woody, whose kindness became his identity. Is Tom Hanks gone? Google searches exploded. Tweets flooded timelines. Fans held their breath. Because the thought of losing Tom Hanks felt like losing the moral compass of Hollywood itself. But hold on. Stay with me, because this story takes a turn. Born July 9, 1956 in Concord, California, Thomas Jeffrey Hanks didn't come from glamour or legacy. His parents' divorce left young Tom moving constantly, 10 homes in 5 years. No stability, no spotlight. Just a quiet, curious boy with a heart full of questions and a mind wired for empathy. He once said, "I had no acting experience in college. I couldn't even land a part in a play." So he auditioned downtown, at a community theater. That rejection? It became the spark. And that spark lit a fire the world would one day celebrate. His breakout came not with a blockbuster, but with a mermaid. Splash was a surprise hit. But it was Big, 1988, that redefined him. A man trapped in a child's body, capturing the innocence the world was losing. It wasn't about charisma. It was about truth. Tom Hanks wasn't just acting. He was listening, feeling, becoming. 2 back-to-back Oscars, Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. Then came Apollo 13, Saving Private Ryan, Cast Away, and Toy Story. All stories of resilience, truth, and quiet power. Each role wasn't just a performance. It was a lesson. A mirror held up to who we were and who we could be. To become Chuck Noland in Cast Away, Hanks gained and then lost over 50 pounds. To play a man with AIDS in Philadelphia, he shrank his body but expanded the world's heart. No shortcuts, no vanity. Only discipline and depth. He once said, "I do not want anyone to have false expectations. This is a ruthless industry, and you have to fight to stay real." In 2013, He quietly revealed his diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, a consequence of his transformative roles. A dislocated shoulder during Band of Brothers location scouting. Criticism for some film choices. Even backlash for speaking truths others wouldn't. But through it all, he stayed measured. He let his work speak louder than the noise. From Captain Phillips to A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, he reinvented himself. No longer just the everyman, now the embodiment of wisdom. He portrayed Walt Disney, Mr. Rogers, Sully. Real people, real pressure, real excellence. And in doing so, Tom Hanks became more than an actor. He became America's conscience. Yes, he's a global icon. But also a man who once carried luggage in a hotel, who collects typewriters, who tweets photos of lost gloves in New York, hoping to reunite them with their owners. He makes kids close their eyes in elevators just so he can say, "There's a snake in my boot." He's a man who never left the ground. A third cousin of Abraham Lincoln. A Navy civilian honoree. A man who sings show tunes to honor his high school drama teacher. Who turned his Oscar speech into a Hollywood movie. Tom Hanks didn't just act. He documented decency. And that brings us back to the moment of silence. The trending tags. The heartbreak rising in our throats. Tom Hanks? Dead? But then, like one of his movie endings, came the twist. Tom Hanks is alive. He's still tweeting, still loving, still creating, still reminding us that being kind is a form of rebellion. So here's what I ask. If Forrest Gump ever moved you, if Woody ever made you smile, if Tom Hanks ever made you believe again, leave a comment, share this story, and tell someone today you've got a friend in me. Because someday this story will end. But today isn't that day. But while one icon still walks among us, another has just left. Today, we remember a woman whose presence graced both Hollywood and the front lines of global justice, Pippa Scott, who passed away peacefully on May 22, 2025, in Santa Monica, California, at the age of 90. If her work ever touched you, on screen or behind the scenes, please leave a like to honor her life and legacy. Her first major role was in The Searchers, directed by John Ford. But acting was only the beginning of her purpose-driven life. Born November 10, 1934, in Los Angeles, Pippa was the daughter of screenwriter Alan Scott and actress Laura Straub. Her early exposure to storytelling and activism shaped a lifelong passion for truth and justice. From Broadway in Child of Fortune to film roles in Auntie Mame, 1958, and TV hits like The Virginian, Mission Impossible, and Perry Mason, Pippa worked steadily through the 50s, 60s, and 70s. In the 1980s, she stepped behind the camera, founding the International Monitor Institute, aiding war crimes prosecutions across Rwanda, Iraq, and the Balkans. She also produced documentaries such as King Leopold's Ghost, earning festival honors and streaming on major platforms today. Fiction lets us rehearse our conscience, but the truth demands action. Her words remind us entertainment was never the end, only the entry point. Her death was confirmed by family, who thanked fans for their quiet love. One online tribute read, "I had no idea she fought so hard for others. That's a life well lived." Pippa Scott's legacy isn't just in film. It's in the evidence she helped gather, the voices she uplifted, and the courage she showed. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and remember, Behind the fame, there are those who choose purpose. Until next time, stay kind, stay remembering. But in the same season of remembrance, another screen legend has taken his final bow. Imagine this: a man who was once the heartbeat of television, the face millions dreamed of, and the soul behind the legendary Dr. Kildare. Today, his screen has finally gone dark. But how did we reach this moment? He was called the king of the miniseries, not just for the roles he played, but for the emotions he carved deep into the hearts of a generation. From medical dramas to epic romances, his face defined television's golden age. But behind the fame, the awards, and the applause was a man battling silence. For decades, Richard Chamberlain lived a double life. Celebrated on screen, haunted off it. Why? Because being gay in 1960s Hollywood wasn't just taboo, it was career suicide. And yet, he carried this burden alone, behind a charming smile. But he didn't fade away, no. He left Hollywood, reinvented himself on the stages of London, and returned with a voice louder than ever. Shakespearean, powerful, fearless. Then in 2003, a confession, a memoir, and with it, liberation. For himself and for so many others hiding behind masks of their own. And now, after 9 decades, the curtain has fallen. Richard Chamberlain, actor, trailblazer, silent warrior, passed away in Waimanalo, Hawaii on March 29, 2025, just 2 days before his 91st birthday. But here's the twist. He never truly left. His courage still speaks. His roles still breathe. And his legacy? It continues, on every screen, in every heart, and in every story that dares to be told. If Richard Chamberlain ever touched your soul through his voice, his fight, or his vulnerability, share your memory in the comments. Let's keep his light alive. Subscribe for more stories of those we've lost and the legacies they leave behind. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share your memories or favorite moments about these icons in the comments below. And if this tribute touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more emotional stories that celebrate the lives of those who will never be forgotten.